Judas Priest Intrigue, Bittersweet at the Gates, and Slayer are being ridiculously unfair to their fans. Metal is life and well, so let's see what keeps it going today. Here you go. Judas Priest Intrigue. Of rather interesting news from the Judas Priest camp. First and foremost, this week the band announced yet another The Best of Judas Priest compilation, which will see the light of day on June 19th this year, and which features a rather interesting selection of songs. No, seriously, if I would be selecting 16 best Judas Priest songs, I would definitely have come up with a completely different list. But at the same time, this compilation actually somewhat makes sense, because it looks like it might be done in the band's attempt to broaden the horizons of their brand new fans, which this band has gained quite a lot of in recent years. But when it comes to us, diehard Judas Priest fans who have been with the band for quite a long time, well, do we need these on vinyl? Well, and honestly, most likely not. I mean, I have each and every one of those songs on vinyl. Some of them multiple times. But do I want this compilation in my collection? Freaking yes! And especially with that rad album artwork. But in addition to that, the band's guitarist Richie Faulkner, who, by the way, this week has finally released the Evolution album with his yet another band, Elegant Weapons, and which actually rocks, so if you haven't listened to it yet, definitely do it. But nevertheless, in this week's interview, Richie said that he would absolutely love for the next Judas Priest tour to focus on Screaming for Vengeance and Defenders of the Faith albums, and even came up with a title for it, calling it Screaming for the Faith, and which the band, although they don't really have those plans yet, could potentially go on after their Faith Keepers run. And here's the thing. Please and thank you! No, seriously, I think I speak on behalf of all the Judas Priest fans around the world. Yes, Richie. Yes, Judas Priest. We all would abso-freaking-lutely love that. Here guys, super quick, just simply have to point out that only around 30% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed to this channel. So if you're not one of those, and especially if this is not the first video you're watching here, I would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing right now. Let's continue building this amazing heavy metal community together. A surprise from Korn. And here's a pleasant surprise no one actually expected. Korn have unexpectedly dropped a brand new single.
My god, it's Korn!
Titled Reward the Scars, with absolutely zero build-up. This one is part of the upcoming Diablo 4 Lord of Hatred expansion, and it's actually the first new Korn music since 2022's Requiem album. And you know what? I absolutely loved it. To me, Reward the Scars is some kind of weird mixture of the different eras of Korn, with a heavy hint on Serenity of Suffering mixed with the band's early 2000s era, and an absolutely incredible rhythm section. So yeah, if this is a preview of Korn's new studio album, of which Head has spoken quite a lot in the recent weeks, I am all in for it. And here a huge shout out and a thank you to all my patrons and all of the YouTube channel members. Guys, it is thanks to your support and the support of everyone who purchases Metal Pilgrim merch all around the world that I am able to release these videos for you. And especially amidst all the craziness that is going on right here in Ukraine. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Even more Venom. One Venom is good, but two is far better. And especially when that other Venom is also fronted by the 2/3 of the classic Venom lineup. And so, yeah, the other Venom, the one of the guitarist Jeff Mantis Dunn and the drummer Anthony Abaddon Bray, have just announced a very special guest who will be joining them for all planned shows this summer season. And it will be nobody else but David Vincent, the legendary Morbid Angel founding vocalist and bassist. Overall, this summer it looks like it's going to be a crazy one for all of the Venom fans, as in addition to Venom, Mantis and Airbourne launched a one-off project to celebrate the 45th anniversary of the band's iconic debut album Welcome to Hell. You know, the one that laid the foundations for pretty much all of the extreme metal subgenres. And they will be doing it with a bunch of shows around the world. Airbourne's letter to Lemmy. Australian hard rockers Airbourne have finally announced their 6th studio album, and the first new release since Bone Shaker saw the light of day all the way back in 2019, which will see the light of day on August 28th this year. Now, initially, the new studio album by Airbourne was actually announced last year under the name Gutsy after its first song, but later on was renamed and will now be released under the name Airbourne, with the first single, Alive After Death, Lust Playing Out, an anthem of defiance and devotion dedicated to the rock legends like Bon Scott, John Bonham and Lemmy, being released alongside the album's announcement. But the most interesting thing is how Airbourne announced this new studio record. As instead of a regular press release, Airbourne wrote a long, emotional and a very personal handwritten letter to nobody else but the legendary Lemmy Kilmister, paying homage to their hero and mentor and dedicating this entire record to the legend we all dearly miss. Jason Newsted is back on stage. Jason Newsted is hitting the road once again. Former Metallica, Flotsam and Jetsam and Voivod bassist had just announced the North American tour with his Jason Newsted and the Chop House Band. That will feature 18 shows altogether and will commence on July 1st in Northampton, Massachusetts and run until July 24th-25th with a 2-night event at the iconic Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, Tennessee. And you know what? I think this is pretty awesome because, well, first of all, I simply love watching my favorite musicians doing music just for fun, playing intimate shows at small venues and clubs and just connecting with their diehard fans. And secondly, well, after watching some of the videos of the Chop House Band, you can see how much fun Jason Newsted has playing on stage once again. Immortal's new album. Norwegian's black metal legends Immortal are preparing their 11th studio record, the first one since the release of War Against All back in 2023. As Immortal's leader, and as of right now sole full-time member Demonus, explained on social media, the songwriting for the new Immortal album has already been finished, and according to him, it will go the same path that all of the fans of this band do like: fast, riff-powered black metal. I mean, what else could you expect from Immortal at this stage of their career? But interestingly enough, as of right now, there's still absolutely no information about who will be joining Demonus for this record. It's just a reminder, the recent years Immortal is basically a one-man project of Demonus. And although War Against All album did feature 2 guest appearances by Enslaved's Arve Isdal and Gall's Weird's Kevin Kvalle, we still have absolutely no idea whether Immortal will ever turn to a real collaborative band once again, and who and if will be helping out Demonus with the upcoming release. Bittersweet at the Gates. The legendary At the Gates have finally released their brand new studio album, The Ghost of a Future Dead. And in all honesty, it might be the most bittersweet release of this year, as it is of course not just a follow-up to The Nightmare of Being, but also a tribute to the legendary Thomas Limberg, making it the most emotional record in the band's catalog for every At the Gates fan. And here's the thing, I almost feel like there's no point in doing a review or discussing a composition of this album, given how strong the emotional connection with the band's history is on this one. But in my opinion, and I know that it might be related to the emotions, but it is an extremely strong record. Possibly one of the strongest ones in the entire At the Gates catalog.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
And if it will be the final statement for At the Gates, which it looks like it might be, well, it definitely is the one which allows this legendary band to go out with quite a bang. And now the time has come for your favorite part of the video, so let's take a look at 5 latest metal releases from this week, which, although did not get their own segments in this video, are still definitely worthy of your attention. Sepultura released their final EP, The Cloud of Unknown, via Nuclear Blast. The 4-track release was created as the band's last creative statement ever during the Celebrating Life Through Death farewell tour, which marks the end of one of the greatest and most renowned Brazilian metal bands in history. Heathen released Twist of Faith, taken from their 2-track maxi single Never a God. The song is based on an early Psychosis track, while the title track Never a God originally came from Laughing Dead, the early 90s band fronted by Heathen vocalist David White. This release also opens the band's new chapter with Napalm Records, with a new album in the works. Devin Townsend released Home at Night, the second single from the highly anticipated album The Moth. The song was one of the first pieces written for the project and came from the difficulty of being away from home with young children and family. The Moth arrives on May 29th via Inside Out Music after years of development as one of Devin's most ambitious works. Dimmu Borgir released Ascent, the second single from their upcoming album Grand Serpent Rising. The album arrives on May 22nd via Nuclear Blast and will feature 13 tracks, becoming the band's first studio album since Immortal. The official video of Ascent was directed by Patrick Alois, adding another cinematic piece to the band's comeback campaign. Amberian Dawn released The Vision of Dreaming, the second single from their upcoming album Temptation's Gate. The album comes out on June 26th via Napalm Records and will be the band's first with new vocalist Nicole Willerton. The single continues the new era introduced by the title track, keeping Amberian Dawn's symphonic metal identity while putting their new singer clearly in the spotlight. Scorpions Scare. Disturbing news came from the camp of the legendary Scorpions. The Indian part of the band's 60th anniversary world tour, initially scheduled from April 21st to April 30th, has unfortunately been completely cancelled. According to the band's statement on social media, the reasons behind the cancellation of the Indian shows are some medical circumstances affecting the band members. With any details about what medical circumstances or which band members remaining completely undisclosed. Scorpions themselves, of course, expressed a strong desire to return to India as soon as possible, although as of right now there is absolutely no information about any rescheduled dates or whether this will affect the remainder of the 60th anniversary tour or not. So on behalf of all the metal pilgrims around the world, and I think on behalf of all the rockers around the world, let's all wish every Scorpions band member the best today and a speedy recovery. And guys, just a reminder, you guys are freaking legends, and at this stage of your career, you really do not have to prove anything to anyone anymore. So please, do take care of yourself. Come on, please, come on! Another loss in the world of rock. Another loss, another legend gone. Vocalist, multi-instrumentalist, and the founding member of Birmingham's psychedelic rock legends Traffic, Dave Mason, passed away at the age of 79. The exact cause of Mason's death still remains unknown, and everything we know is that last autumn he had to cancel his tour because of some medical issues. Dave Mason co-founded Traffic back in 1967 together with Steve Winwood and co-wrote some of the band's biggest hits, including Hole in My Shoe and Feelin' Alright, before leaving Traffic in 1969 and briefly rejoining them in 1971. And from then on, he of course had a rather fruitful solo career, with 16 studio releases under his belt, all of which of course had a profound influence on the world of rock and metal. So on behalf of all the metal pilgrims around the world, I just want to issue our condolences to the friends and family of Dave Mason and thank him for the incredible legacy he left behind him. The Riverside drama. Something rather weird is happening in the camp of Polish prog rock band Riverside. And because of that something, the whole future of this band is one big question mark. A longtime Riverside bassist, vocalist, and mastermind Mariusz Duda announced his departure from the band. According to Duda's statement, he remains on good terms with most of Riverside members, but at the same time, in that same statement, he said that he simply cannot force himself to smile every time he needs to stand near his bandmates to take a picture. Which, if you think about it, those two statements kinda contradict one another.
Quantum mechanics says it's both. How can it be both? It can't. But it is.
From now on, Duda will concentrate entirely on his yet another project, Lunatic Soul, because he believes that Riverside simply cannot exist with the current lineup, and he doesn't really know how to restart it with new band members. Which most likely means that Riverside, which as of right now features only one original band member, Piotr Koziratsky, might actually cease to exist.
My soul.
Slayer's Rain and Blood. Slayer have finally announced a very limited run of headline shows celebrating the 40th anniversary of Rain and Blood. And yes, they are playing the album front to back. Woo! Yeah, baby! At first, there were only 2 dates announced in the United States, Minnesota and Los Angeles, and those apparently were the only shows where fans would be able to get the full album live. And that by itself, of course, was a rather big deal. But then the LA concert pre-sale happened. And the entire venue sold out immediately. So fast, in fact, the band simply had to add another date in Los Angeles pretty much right away. So, as of right now, there are only 3 headline shows total and 2 festival appearances, at which Slayer will be performing their Rain and Blood in full in honor of its 40th anniversary. And apparently that's it. And in my opinion, well, this is simply not fair! No, seriously, Rain and Blood is the album that changed everything for thrash metal. The one that many people still consider to be one of the heaviest records ever made, and the one that still hits just as hard almost 40 years later. And the whole fact that Slayer is celebrating it with just 5 concerts, allowing just a fraction of their fans to experience it live, is simply a crime against humanity. So here's the thing, Slayer, we know you bid farewell too early. You know you bid farewell too early, and everyone knows you bid farewell too early. So come on, guys, can you please just make a full tour out of it? Or at least bring it to Europe? Cause, you know what? I really wanna see that show. But anyways, what new music did you listen to this week? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Please don't forget to like it, comment under it, of course subscribe to this channel and spread the word about it. And of course join our communities on Instagram, X, Threads, Facebook, Discord, and anywhere else you can post content these days. Thank you guys for all your support, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!